Hi, we are Analogical Engines. We help R&D teams accelerate breakthrough innovation with AI. Meet Amy. She's a senior R&D scientist at Procter & Gamble. Despite the billions they have spent on oral care R&D, the way we floss has remained the same since the 1800s. In fact, all the low-hanging fruit has been tried to the point that P&G is asking the world for new ideas. But what if instead of being fixated on the same old, Amy could get genuinely novel ideas that have good reasons for why they could work? Our platform finds these analogies or inspirations starting from familiar places like dental, to further of places like cheese ripening, to bone resorption, to drilling fluids in oil well. Let's see what idea that inspires. A mouthwash with tiny magnetic beads that spin like miniature augers, much like oil drilling, corkscrewing plaque out from between your teeth. We also get ahead of key risks like FDA approval, since iron oxide beads are already used in food coloring. Our goal is to accelerate breakthroughs like this everywhere. While companies are spending more on R&D, over $3 trillion, the results are getting less disruptive in almost every domain. We want to change that. The 30-plus companies that we talk to, R&D leaders, all agreed that they've explored everything that they know. And when it comes to AI, it can actually make things worse, decreasing creativity and critical thinking. So how do we fix this? Like the biggest breakthroughs throughout history, we use analogies, just like the Wright brothers borrowing from bicycle mechanics or the shape of a kingfisher's beak being used to inspire the design of the bullet train to avoid sonic booms. But finding analogies has largely relied on serendipity. Our team has been leading in the field of computational analogy and innovation for over a decade, combining expertise in human-computer interaction, machine learning, design, and cognitive science. Our research has repeatedly shown better outcomes than traditional AI approaches like ChatGPT, with the papers, patents, and press to prove it. We recently stress tested our platform at Covestro on 3 problems at the physical limit of polymers, which they've been stocked for over a decade, where a solution could be worth over $1 billion. We actually helped their scientists find dozens of promising new directions that they never considered before, while existing tools and ChatGPT couldn't get beyond what they already know. We're initially going after a $12 billion market with an annual fees of $100,000 per team. We are in talks with Covestro for our first paid pilot later this week, and in talks with P&G and PepsiCo, our 3 beachhead verticals. Once we prove breakthroughs for one customer and become a repeatable engine for innovation, we believe it'll become a race for all the rest to line up, since no one can afford to wait. Our goal to keep adding verticals every year, and within 5 years become the operating system for global R&D. Thank you.
It's an extremely ambitious pitch, very interesting. How do you plan to charge companies for this and get credit for your work?
Right. So right now we have like a price point of $100,000 that we came up with after consulting with former VPs and leaders at Bosch and PPG. We also been looking at the open innovation challenges that these R&D companies actually put on like platforms like Halo, which are somewhere between $75,000 to $300,000. But yeah, like right now it's $300,000 the starting point. We'll obviously learn as more deals are get negotiated, and down the line, if we prove ourselves to be a reputable engine, I think we would also be in a position to charge a share of the commercialized IP.
That's amazing. Can you share a little bit about how you look at the different areas of study and how you can create those analogies?
Right. Sorry. Yeah, that's basically like the part we've been researching on, like finding, there's like, if I unpack it into 3 parts, one would be like finding the analogies. Both humans are fixated, and we've seen with AI also like it converges to the next likely token. So we've studied how humans do analogical reasoning and have built over the years a systematic pipeline to identify the right analogies, going back to all the way back to like crowdsourcing days to the early days of machine learning, embeddings and stuff. So that's the first part. And the second part is, even if you find the right analogies, how do you transfer it back to your problem? So just looking at the kingfisher's beak was not enough. Like, how do you bring it back to the bullet train? So that's the other part that we've been working on. And finally, like, even if you have an idea, how do you know it works within your domain, in your problem? So if I unpack our pipeline, is these three parts that we're working on. So, yeah.
So I follow up, that third one's more on the engineering side, is it really?
Yes, the third one is basically like we're looking at things to de-risk, like why will this technology work within your manufacturing constraints, within the regulatory constraints or problem constraints, where we will be working with a lot of experts who will be involved in the loop.
So the proof is really in the pudding in this sort of thing. So you gave us an example of using a mouthwash with corkscrews that screw around. Is that your best example of a thing that this produces, or do you have another example you can share with us that you're really proud of, that is a great, crazy idea that no one thought of before?
Sure. I mean, that's something that we've been working on. Well, this was an example that lit up the eyes at P&G. So, so that sort of was the proof. But there are other cases that, I mean, we have NDAs that prevented us from like showing over here. But yeah, to answer your question, our longer term goal is to like get those case studies of commercialized IPs and scientific breakthroughs that happen. So that's something that we're working on.